Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be around the globe, in the chat room, on another planet, or on the other side. This is The Last Frequency. I am Mike Vara, and I am hoping for the best tonight, expecting probably the worst, hoping for the best. I'll tell you, what a nightmare it can be sometimes with these technical things. So we worked on it. We got everything worked out. All good. Yeah, we're ready to go. And then tonight I decided to start to go live, and I don't know. I hear some things. I don't know what's going to happen. Don't know if everything's going to work right. I'm hoping it will. It probably won't because it's just my luck. But and of course my tech man is not available. Right, which we wouldn't have time anyway. So I had a choice tonight: either come on and see how things go, or just don't do it at all. And so I decided to come on and see how it goes. So we're gonna see how it goes. I don't know how things are gonna sound. I know. I know we'll find out, I suppose. So, anyways, the website is www.lastfrequency.com. Go on over, become a member, be informed, and by all means, inform others. Always important to do so. My guest tonight, should everything pan out well, is like the guest line. I'm hearing, I don't know, I hear some kind of interference. Maybe you guys won't hear it. Maybe it's just, if I'm the only one that hears it, then great. I'll go nuts tonight with it, and at least the show will go on. That's what I'm hoping. But, and then I don't know, I got a couple of channels that are not cooperating, and we tested all of this. Tested everything over and over again. Everything was good. I swear to God, there's a demon in the system. So, June Ahern, scheduled to join me tonight. June Ahern is an author, metaphysical teacher, paranormal investigator, and psychic. So that's where we're going tonight. She had a wham doozy of a near-death experience. So we are definitely going to hit that this evening. Tomorrow night, I've got another good show. I think I've got Dr. Rand joining me tomorrow night on The Last Frequency. He's got a new book coming out, so we're going to talk about that. If David says he's listening. That's good news, David. That means at least I'm being heard right now. So, June Ahern joining me. Then, a couple weeks ago, I came down with something, was not feeling too good. It came and went, really, but then this cough has been lingering. I got this, not that I'm constantly coughing, but occasional cough. It's just lingering from this damn thing, and, I'll tell you, ever since, I won't get it. That's right, we're on YouTube tonight. I'll just leave that for tomorrow night. Anyways, June Ahern is joining us, and should be a good show, long as everything works well, which I've got my fingers crossed, my toes crossed, my eyes crossed at this point. So anyways, let's get into it, shall we? Oh, well, by the way, yes, lastfrequency.com. And sound is good to go. Okay, yeah, it's not. What I'm really concerned about is the guest sound. I'm hoping that's okay. So we'll see, I guess. What's the worst that can happen, right? Might not be able to go on again. I mean, Jesus, Nelly, it's just, I was just telling some folks here, this is just getting so old. It's like, I've just got to get a brand new system. Just be done with it. No more goofing around. That's what's got to happen in the very near future, and it's going to happen. So a top AI expert has issued a stark warning over the potential for world extinction that super smart AI technology could bring to us. Could we get so lucky? So this Eliezer Yudkowsky is a leading AI researcher, and he claims that everyone on Earth will die unless we shut down the development of superhuman intelligence systems. I could think of some other things that would be more likely to make everybody die, which I will not bring up tonight. The 43-year-old is a co-founder of the Machine Intelligence Research Institute and claims to know exactly how horrifically dangerous this technology is. There's a lot of things that are dangerous out there, isn't there, YouTube? He fears that when it comes down to humans versus smarter than human intelligence, the result is total loss. In short, humans would lose dramatically. Aren't we already losing, kinda, dramatically right now? For unknown reasons. Ha. Chinese team behind extreme animal gene experiment says it may lead to super soldiers who survive nuclear fallout. Oh, that's wonderful. Modified human embryonic stem cells showed supernatural resistance against radiation, according to a paper by the Academy of Military Sciences team in Beijing. Take it for what it's worth. How about that? Super soldiers. Boy, I haven't really heard much about super soldiers in a minute. Oh, wait. No. Dr. Rand is not tomorrow, is he? I got to look now. Just dawned on me. Wait, is it? No. Absolutely not. Dr. Richard Allen Miller is tomorrow. I know some of you are cheering. Once in a while I get an email about, Dr. Rand, his stories. You know what? I appreciate a good story from the old guys. I really do. To a degree. Black hole jet from nearly classified galaxy changes direction towards Earth, astronomers say. What does that mean for us? Probably very little. A jet from a galaxy with a supermassive black hole at its center over 656 million light years away is pointing directly at us, folks. However, they do not say whether this would pose a threat at all to our little blue planet. I will assume there is no threat. After all, it is 656 million miles away. So, I think we'll be all right. So, I want to take a quick break here. Yes, already. And I'm going to, just on the break, I'm going to pray like a mantis that everything works well tonight. I am so anxious to just get on with the show. I am sick of the BS. It's like, I'm ready to go here. All right. So, folks, I'm Mike Vara. This is The Last Frequency. And I'll be back with my guest on the other side of this break, folks. So hang on with me. Once again, Last Frequency on the VARA network. Oh, I think that's working too. Yay. We'll be back. Barring any energy eclipse somewhere or something. Don't go away.
Columbia.
Excellent.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio.
You're listening to the VARA Network. Hey, frequencies of all walks of life. Keep up with all things TLF radio by joining our mailing list. Go to the bottom of the homepage and fill in the form. You'll get everything from guest info and show info and other important station-related information. So sign up now.
crazy ass bumper stickers, and more.
What?
You heard me. Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
For all your bumper sticker needs, just click on the Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers banner located at the foot of my website, www.lastfrequency.com. That's Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers and more.
You're making me crazy.
I want to talk to you about something very important for a moment here, folks. That is clean drinking water. Yeah, you can survive without it for about 3 days. How do you know yours is even pure? You don't, but I'll tell you what is. This is the ultimate water filtration solution. It's called Alexa Pure Pro. It is a groundbreaking gravity-fed water filtration system that outperforms all the others for less. I personally stand behind the Alexa Pure Pro water filtration system because I use it.
This is
The last frequency.
You Are the Resistance.
Welcome to the night. From the Midlands of South Carolina, you're listening to The Last Frequency with your host, Mike Vara. To get questions directly to Mike Vara, you can call in or message Mike on our website, www.lastfrequency.com. Now, here is Mike Vara.
Back I am, at least I think so. At least I think so. You're listening to The Last Frequency. I'm Mike Vara. And, well, we're getting ready to bring that guest on. And that'll be the next big test. Hopefully everything will go fine and planned. And I did pray on the break. And I saw the ceiling open and the lights shine in, and well, poop emoji, that's all I can say. So www.lastfrequency.com, go on over, become a member, be informed, inform others. Don't forget the archives are free over there, so when there's technical issues and you miss me because I can't be here, you can always go to the archives, and there's plenty there for you. I remember, what was it, a couple weeks ago now, I says, hey, yeah, I'll do the Monday show on YouTube, too, because I had a guest that, well, wouldn't have offended the YouTube gods. And unfortunately, that's when more problems started with everything. So we'll see. I don't know. The sound has been a pain. You know, I've been doing this for, 15 years now. 15 years. We've corrected the sound a million times. It's like, but, for some reason this time, it's Microsoft. And it has not been nice. Not nice at all. Was it ever, though? All right, so I should tell you a little bit, because a little bit is all I really can tell you about my guest tonight, because she's going to fill you in on the rest. June Ahern is an author, medical physical teacher, a paranormal investigator, and of all things else, a psychic. And her website is www.juneahern.com, just like it sounds. June, A-H-E-R-N, juneahern.com. You can go check her out over there. And I am going to, well, here we go. Let's see if my steam starts coming off my head or not. I am going to dial up June. Now, if initially it could, well, we'll see. Let's just see. I'm not going to say anything else. Just let's do it. All right. I think we're ringing. Good evening, June. How are you tonight?
Good evening.
How,
Can you hear me okay?
yes, I can. How you doing tonight?
So far, so good. It's still 6 o'clock here.
Oh, is it?
Or
Oh,
after 6.
okay. Well, we got 9:20 on my end, and we are live. If you're ready to go, so are we. Everything sound okay on your end?
Yes, I put on my ears so I
Okay,
can hear you
good.
exactly.
All right. And I'll ask everyone in the chat room, everything sound okay to you right now? Or is it good? You hearing any extra noises or anything? If it's just me hearing it, then I'll accept that tonight. Anyways, June, thank you so much for being with me tonight. I appreciate it. And I welcome you to the last frequency. And we are also we're live on radio, we're live on YouTube, we're live on many outlets, and I want to thank you so much. And I'm being told they hear us both well. Well, that's good news then. All right, good.
Good.
We're good to go. So June, again, thank you so much. And so you're an author, metaphysical teacher, paranormal investigator. I find all that very interesting. You're also a psychic. I thought. Maybe, I thought maybe we can go into a little bit of the background, such as, when you first noticed psychic abilities and so on. Kind of take me back. How did all this come about for you?
Well, I had a near-death experience in a car accident, and it was within a relatively short time, say a couple of months. Because it was pretty serious car accident. I had to heal. I was in the hospital for a week, which nowadays is pretty unheard of. But
Yeah.
And I began to experience knowing things, like we would call it deja vu, but they were coming rapidly and all the time. I would know that I was going to see somebody before I saw them. I began to have an image of a person that I had known quite a few years before, and I started seeing him, and then I got a phone call that he had passed on. And my sister was going to go to Hawaii, and I said to her, you shouldn't go, it's not a good time. So her two friends went. She was still going to go, but the morning she was leaving, she got a phone call that both her friends had been in a car accident and were killed.
Oh.
So all these things kept adding up, and I wanted to find out why. It's very strange. You're talking about back in the 1970s, and it wasn't as talked about as it is now. So I started to wanted to understand. I had a reading before this car accident. The reading was with playing cards, just a simple deck of playing cards. And the woman had told me that I was going to be in an accident, and more details, which came to be. So I started to study the playing cards. How could you know something by looking at cards?
Yeah.
And that began my interest. And then eventually I started studying the tarot. People wanted me to read for them because what I was reading was so accurate to their life and what was coming. That's how I got into it. By 1975, I had people coming for readings.
I see. And so you noticed one day you had these psychic abilities. I want to get into near death a little bit more here in a moment. But so, I mean, is this something that started as a child, or when did you first notice that, these...
Well, I was, after my car accidents when I really noticed it. My mother was always interested, and she would have dreams and things would happen afterwards. And her brother, she saw one of her brothers appear to her, and later, within a day or two, found out that he had been killed. He had been killed in World War II. But he had appeared to her in spirit. So there was always a bit of an interest there. Nobody took it really serious. We liked it. One Step Beyond was on television, and but it was really after this car accident that I began to notice how much I knew about events and people I didn't even know. I just knew about their life. And then I would find out from someone else. Like, oh yeah, that's true. That person did have that experience or was from that place. So it was like a gradual acceptance. I didn't really accept it at first. I had to find out why was this happening, and that's why I turned to the tarot cards. I thought, well, maybe they had an answer for me.
Yeah,
And I began to think, well,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no good.
I was gonna say
No, I mean,
I used to have a woman who would come on years ago. She used to come on a monthly basis and read cards for people, and she used to amaze me all the time with it. You know, I don't know how it works, but I'll be damned, it works. So for some
Yeah, it
people,
works.
yeah.
Even to me, after what, almost 50 years, I still love the tarot. I'm retired from private practice, but I'll like yesterday I went and read at our local tea house just for my own fun. You know, of course I was paid, but just also because it's such a delight to read for other people.
When you're reading, do you ever come across? I mean, it can't just be all good news, right? Once in a while, does things come that you just don't want to tell somebody, but and do you have to?
Yes, things come that you don't want to tell somebody. You seek to find a way that they can accept that there's going to be a particular change coming up that's going to be very difficult for them, a challenge. So rather than saying to somebody, well, it looks like you're going to really die from a cancer or something,
Oh,
you're
geez.
going, oh boy. I would say you really need to have you consider going to your doctor. It's time for you to have checkups. How are you feeling? You know, you have to have some sort of finesse. You have to have diplomacy. When people come to me and tell me some things readers have told them, I'm pretty appalled. I'm like, that's not helping a person. You want to help the person.
Well, yeah, you definitely want to help them, but if one thing's for sure, if I'm going to get nailed by a Mack truck tomorrow, I would certainly like to know about that. So,
Yeah, well, what would you do? Would you stay home?
yeah, probably
You know,
would.
people
Then the
really don't
ceiling would
listen.
fall on me, right?
You know, people really don't listen. You're nailed by a Mack truck. Well, that might be what the reader says. So you're sitting in your living room looking out the window, and a plane falls down and gets you right through your roof. I mean, you have to balance it.
Yeah, as I get older, there's certain things I would never do, and flying, for instance, on an airplane is one of them. And recently, I've been saying, you know what? If it's my time, it's going to be my time. So, I don't think that I would. As scary as it used to seem, it doesn't seem so scary to me no more. You know what's scarier? Dying of a lot of other things would be much scarier than going
Yeah.
down in an airplane, I guess. Excuse me. So, is it fair to say then that you I guess, for lack of better words, you see dead people?
I see dead people. I see them, yeah, usually pretty easy. I
Uh-huh.
see them quite a bit.
And did you think you were going crazy, or did it scare the heck out of you when this first time? Because I gotta be honest, if I had woke up one morning and I seen people standing around me, I would be a little concerned, personally.
Both. It scared the heck out of me, and I thought I was going crazy. Both. Really, you're back in the 1970s, people will probably think, whoa, that's a good LSD tab you took. It wasn't spoken about like people speak about it now. It was around 1978, Life After Death came out, Dr. Moody, that there was just beginning to people accept this is something. I couldn't tell people about my near-death experience and what happened until for years. How do you explain to somebody, oh, I went to the other side, I went to heaven? And I came from a rather very religious household.
Right.
So, again, I had to be careful of what I was going to share. I mean, after all, there were some members of my family when I started doing psychic work that were convinced I was working with the devil.
Yes, when I first got into radio, I had a company that I was working with, and they thought so too. They said, we don't want you to have psychics on the show no more. It's it's evil. They're connecting. They don't know who they're connecting with. It could be evil spirits. It's like on a day-to-day basis, going to anywhere, going on about your day, you never know what evil you're communicating with anyways. I mean, I've never seen anything more evil than some people, to be honest with you, but yeah. So yeah, I was always told it's not the dead you got to worry about, it's the living. But,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There are, and it's not hard to figure out. A person that is perceived as evil is somebody who is out to gain something from you with no win on your side.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, being used like a tool, as they say. So, wow, when you see people from on the other side, what does it look like? Are they fuzzy? I mean, are they static, young, old? What do they look like? And I know that, these entities, ghosts, they always have clothes on. I guess that's to not startle us.
Yeah, I guess they don't want to shock us too much, right? I'll mark all of the above here. That they can appear any way they want to, and sometimes because let me tell you this: you want it to happen in your mind. When I actually have seen manifestations, of all the years I've done it, I'm still not comfortable with it. I don't want to have a manifestation. I'd rather just talk to the spirit in my mind, a little mental conversation, and see them in my mind. When you transition or pass over or die, whatever word you want to use, you can appear back any way you want to. That's why people get confused if I'm speaking about, I see your grandmother, but she looks beautiful. She's got, red high heels on and her red lipstick and everything. They go, she was 90-something years old. And then with a little talk, they go, there is a photograph. It's black and white, so I don't know if her outfit was red or her shoes were red. So Grandma didn't want to appear as a 90-something-year-old woman. She wanted to appear when she felt great about herself.
Well, yeah, and I think that's kind of where our spirits are, because, my dad, I asked him, I have anyways, asked him as he's gotten older, how do you feel? Do you still feel inside? He said, mentally, I feel like I did, when I was 19. But, physically, it's a whole nother ball game. So yeah, and I had an encounter with my mother years ago after she had passed, and she didn't look a day over 30 herself. So, they tend, but then, every now and then you get somebody who enjoys, I guess, staying old on the other side, and they'll appear that way as well, won't they?
Yes, they can appear that way, and I believe what happens is the spirit wants you to be able to identify this is actually the person you're talking about. That's why the medium is given information as though saying, well, I really liked it when you came and visited me in the farmhouse, or we went on vacation to Santa Cruz to the boardwalk. They want to give some actual personal information so the person asking for the message can identify, that's really the spirit that I've been wanting to talk to. So they do try to appear and also give information so the living can believe that is them talking.
And for those who really think that you might be talking to evil, let me ask you this. How do you know that the spirit that you're talking to is genuine? How do you know it's not some trickster or evil thing? And I guess, I'll let you explain. I have my own theories on that. I think, it must be something in the vibrations, but tell me how does that work?
Well, that's, really actually a good question. Again, getting information, does the medium, do I feel comfortable? Because if it is a negative entity, it is a negative being, I may not catch it immediately, but my whole body begins to vibrate. I begin to feel like something's wrong here. Something's not right with this information or this communication. more on my paranormal investigations at locations is when I have dealt with those kind of entities, that kind of spirit. I divide it between ghost spirits and entities just to make it like a clarity, like what are we talking about here, though they're all spirit. So I haven't had on a personal basis dealing with people, private clients, or say at a spirit communication like a seance. I haven't had a lot of that. I've had some of it, but it's not very common.
Okay, and I mean, is there things you do ahead of time? And by the way, chat, I do see you. I see your, any questions that come up. I can't interact on the chat right now, but I do see you. Is there things that you can do prior? And I guess there is. But do you do things prior to protect yourself?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I kind of get on people that want to do paranormal, or they want to do a little ghost hunts, and I tell them, you want to be able to prepare yourself, even hours before. I mean, even before the show, I prepared myself by taking my time to relax, by thinking not only what I want to say, but more to just come inside of myself. And before I'm going to do any kind of spirit, before I was going to do any reading, spirit communication, paranormal investigation, of course, meditation, I cleanse my mind, cleanse my whole self. Yeah. For me, being brought up Catholic, I say the rosary or some decades of the rosary. I can at times, in certain locations, I've used holy water on myself. I've burned sage around me. Frankincense and myrrh are associated with spirit energy. So yes, absolutely. Every time I prepare myself for quite a few hours before I do any spirit. As a matter of fact, I start even mentally preparing for it days before. I start opening up my psychic energy to just see, what am I looking at here?
It sounds like me preparing for this show. I start from the moment I wake up. I'm getting ready for tonight. but yeah, because even here I could
it's
run
like
into evil.
For a date.
Yeah, exactly. So a question in the chat room. Dawn asks. She says, "I dreamed I was given a giant copper penny, as big as a stop sign. Does she know dreams? Do you know what that might symbolize?"
I am not, I do know some symbols. I'm not very good at dreams. I could ask my sister, who's excellent at them. The way I look at dreams is symbolically, how did you emotionally or physically even feel about that? Was there a sense, like a copper penny would have to do, communication? They say if you see a penny, a spirit's in your aura or wanting to talk to you. If you see a nickel, it's even stronger. So there's association with spirits and money. I don't know in this case if that's what it is, but it could be.
Yeah,
a copper penny. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and that's what I tell people. How'd you feel when you had it? What did it feel like to you? Just like some people say, oh, I had this dream. My grandfather was here and we were talking and all this. So it seems so real, but I think it was just a dream. It's like, well, how did it feel to you? Did it feel real? Yeah. Well, then it probably was.
How did you feel at the end of the dream? When I would do guided imageries through hypnosis, so much importance is on the end of the session. What was going on at the end for you? Because that has a lot about it. No matter, the symbols are being supported by the mental beliefs and images and the emotional feelings. Yeah, it's really interesting. But symbolism, it sounds like the copper penny, because it's so big, had to do very much with expanding. I would say expanding one's wealth.
Yeah.
It might seem like it's small, it's a penny, but it's big. So it's going to expand something that this person is asking about.
I have books here. I wish I had one of those books in front of me right now. I'd try to help Dawn out. But yeah, I have books from. I've had dream experts on the show in the past, and and I've got a ton of books here about all that stuff, and it's really interesting stuff. But I think when it comes down to it, certain things mean different things to different people for different reasons, right?
Oh yeah, and by culture.
Yeah.
Also by cultures, different symbolisms are different. Yeah.
Right. For instance, I've had folks who've had near-death experiences, and I ask them, well, what was it like? Some went through a tunnel and saw Jesus. Others didn't go through a tunnel, and they saw their brother or sister. And so I think it's different for everybody. Yours. Tell me a little more in detail about your near-death experience, because I find those interesting, and I'll tell you the biggest reason is because we're all going to get there one day, and we're not going to be able to come back. And so anybody who may have taken that journey and could give me any kind of bits and pieces to that puzzle, I am all for. So tell me, what is it like? What was it? How did it work for you?
I have never been able to achieve this through all my years of meditation and visioning. It was blissful. It was tranquility at the highest. It was joyous and lovely. I saw relatives, some of the relatives I didn't even know. I only knew from photographs. And they were in, I think of Ricky Nelson, they were in a garden and in this beautiful light. And it would be like a bright, beautiful sunny day. Everything was perfect, and they were laughing and talking very softly. They were so happy together. And my grandparents that were there. Now, I left when I left Scotland to come to the U.S. I was only 6, so I don't really remember my grandmother, and she passed, a few years after. But she was very strongly there. And they were smiling. My grandparents were smiling, and they're waving at me. And I wanted to go in. I wanted to be part of this gathering. And I was standing outside of a little ornate gate. So there was a separation. And they greeted me warmly, hello, but go back. You have to go back. I did not want to go back. It was absolutely just the only word I could think of is blissful. To be in bliss. But I was sent back, and I woke up, and there I was in the hospital.
Yeah. So you didn't go through any tunnels or bright lights, anything like that?
No,
nothing.
I went right to the garden party.
Right to the garden party, huh? So okay. So you've communicated with the other side in the past, right? So does that, when you speak with spirits, I don't know if you've ever tried to ask any of them questions in this order, but does it coincide with your experience? Have you ever asked them, hey, what's it like over there, or what do they tell you?
Wow, you know what? I haven't. I think now I'm going to have to do that because I'm taking messages that are coming. I'm definitely going to be doing that one. Hey, what's it like for you guys over there? Well, one thing I learned when I was doing a meditation class at the Buddhist temple here, we were told to use any sort of symbol that we, equate with peaceful or joyful. Because everything's made in our mind, and we know that more and more. Creative visualization, use your mind, your brain. Everything is being talked about more about how we can change our brain. This is scientific proof that they're working on research. We can change our brain. So I think what we see on the other side is what we somewhat expect to see. Like you said, some people see Jesus. It could be they're Christians. And they pray to Jesus, of course, I was brought up very religiously, as I said, but I didn't see Jesus. Instead, I saw a lot of happy relatives that didn't know. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think it does. For me, I'm okay with not seeing Jesus, in my first step to the other side, because it's kind of like at work, you know. You don't want to see the boss. You see the boss, usually there's something wrong.
When you get there and St. Peter is looking at it and saying, sorry, you're not on this list.
Yeah, or you're over on this list, and we're going to take you over here. Let's get you in the elevator. So, you know,
and that's why.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some people tell me that how I have had people tell me, you know, living people. Oh, yeah, I had a near-death experience, and oh, it was horrible, and I saw these monsters, and I saw evil and everything, and I wonder what kind of life they live with fears. I may not then have those fears, so I didn't experience fear.
I would ask
I'm
those
curious.
people, if you're seeing monsters and scary stuff, I would say it might be time to make some changes in your life while you still can. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because if you're seeing stuff like that, wouldn't that make you afraid to go? When it comes time and you're on your deathbed, I'd be thinking about that, saying, oh, no, you know. But so, God, I don't know. I wouldn't want to see that. Now, me in 2014, I had a near death. I wouldn't call it an experience. I had an issue, heart attack, and but I didn't have that. You know, I was out for a little bit, but I didn't experience the near death. So I guess I wasn't that near to death. But I'll say this: when it was all over with, I kind of looked back and says, "Man, I was almost there." Almost there. It was almost all over with. Now, one day I'm going to have to do that again, I thought. And so, kind of the same concept. Yeah. I was like, kind of, I won't say ready, but, I was like, all right, well, we're this far. Let's just complete it, But thankfully, I'm still here. And, but I didn't have that experience. But I know it's a real one because I've had a visitation from my mother after a few years after she passed. And I've also had an encounter with not so nice entities in an apartment that I once lived in. So, and I don't expect people to believe me. It's my experience, and it's, and certainly it's woke me up to say, hey, there's a lot more than what meets the eye. That's why when somebody tells me that they're that they can speak to dead people, I don't shun at that. I believe that there are definitely people in this world who can do these things. And so it's kind of like, it's been explained to me kind of like a radio frequency, right? So you're able to get on a frequency our radios just isn't connecting to.
Yeah, well, there's more study being done scientifically. It's not always easy because science has to be based on facts. Like this fact happened. When you're in the metaphysical world, the occult world, you're not really fact-based. The facts come from your own experience, and do they have meaning to your life? How does it, what does it do to your life? How does it affect your life? Where science is different, but science is closing in. They're narrowing down, and they're talking just what you're saying, that we are vibrating humans. We are vibrating beings, and our vibration goes out like a frequency, just what you said. And it's like signals, and then the signals come in from another dimension. I'm studying more and more dimensional space because I think that's what's happening. I think that when our physical body is gone, I'm starting to realize it goes our self, who we are, the spirit of us goes into another dimension. So it doesn't die, but the physical body dies.
Yeah, my father, he's pushing 92 in April. He'll be 92, and he's been having some health battles recently, and long story short, he's actually still in the hospital rehabbing right now, but I'm going to get that phone, and I am going to put a hammer through it like Hillary if it doesn't stop dinging. Anyways, he was kind of out of it. He wasn't responsive, but the one thing he was kind of mumbling under his breath for a little while was my mother's name, who she's been passed now. So I was wondering if maybe he was seeing her. Or she was there with him, because I'll tell you, he's this guy. He is tougher than nails. He's gone through so much, and just when they write him off and say, "Well, this is probably it," he comes back. So, he's a fighter, but at some point we all lose that fight.
Not ready.
Yeah. So what do you think? I
So
mean, yeah.
You know, I learned a lot through my work. I didn't just study. Usually I learned something from experiencing with whoever I was working with, and then I would find a book on it later, or it would come to me in a meditation. One of the ways that I learned what happens to us at death is relatives of, and this is very sad, it was during the time of AIDS, and people, relatives would call in of their loved ones that was ready to pass, and I saw how much they would talk about others that have passed on before. Maybe it was a grandfather, maybe it was a mother or father. And so when we do get near those times of passing, other than maybe a heart attack that happens suddenly or a stroke, we begin to talk about the people that have gone on before us. We bring them up, we joke about them, and this can go on for months. It's what I've learned over periods, now that I've learned over years. And so your father's dreaming of your mother, but really she's making a connection with him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'll meet you when you come over.
Yeah, because they were very close, and they were together for, I don't know, like 50 years before she passed away.
Wow.
And so, she's I don't know, I think she's kind of there with him, but who knows? Maybe I just want to think that. But I mean, he's sitting there mumbling her name. I'm thinking,
is.
yeah, oh yeah, okay. Well, it's so
she's with them, and when we go over, and I had this validated by nurses. I had a friend that was passing over in the hospital I was visiting. He was talking about, and the nurses say, yeah, that's what all the ones that are leaving, they begin to talk about seeing those that gone before them, because they're there to help them go over to the other side. Your mother's going to take his hand. Your mother's going to take him over, so he's not going to be afraid to just really give up the physical body, because it's hard to give up the physical body.
Well, it is. It's like someone trying to give up a cigarette. They get such pleasure from it, and just as we get such pleasure from our bodies, let's face it. Nobody really wants to. Well, I won't say nobody, but most people don't want to die. And a lot of it is because the unknown afterwards. But then there's a lot of I think being a spirit, man, I hope it's as fun as being in this body, but I hope it's a lot less painful.
It's a lot less painful after a period of time. My belief, from my studies, my belief at the time, because things change, is that when we go over, we have a time where we get to see our loved ones. So hello, hey, glad you made it. And then we go before a panel and we're adjudged. That doesn't mean we're judged. It just means they're saying, well, like the people you're going to meet when you leave, the 5 people you're going to meet in heaven, what do you think about this time? What do you think you could have done different? So it's an examination of self. And then we begin to heal. I've talked to quite a few spirits that say, oh, you know what, I can finally breathe again. And I would say something, oh yeah, they died of lung cancer. Or, oh, my feet, I'm running all the time. They said, well, that's funny, because they couldn't run. They had lost a leg or something. So we go through a healing process, even a physical healing process. We're becoming whole.
Yeah.
Holistically whole.
I see people on a daily basis, and with my work, I see, a lot of people on a daily basis, and some of them I look and I think, boy, if that was me, I don't know if I'd have the courage to go on. The things that people are dealing with, whether it be double amputees, vegetable states almost, where they could just move their, I see it all in a day's time, most days, and it gets you thinking about life big time, and how blessed you actually are. Is no matter how bad things you think things are, things can be a lot worse. And I wonder why some people have to go through the things they go through while others don't. And I know we all have our personal journeys, but it just seems like, wow. I mean, especially you're going to live to 70, 80 years old, and you're going to have to be in some of the states that some of these folks are in. And they want to go on. They're doing things with their life. They're not just feeling sorry for themselves. I think it's amazing. I mean, I work with a guy actually he's in a wheelchair, and this guy, he's ready to go every day. He doesn't want to sit. He could, but he doesn't want to sit home. He wants to do things. And I envy the guy. I don't know if I would be, if my spirit would have that much energy. But his certainly does. So it's amazing. Why do you think some people?
Life is amazing.
Life is amazing. It's also it's a kind of like a boot camp sometimes too.
Well put.
Yeah, it really is like a boot camp. I feel like we come here to get ready for. I mean, if you pass class Earth, you could probably get through anything. If you get through a full life here without leaving early for some reason, man, you're ready. You're like a Navy SEAL or something. Yeah. So what? I guess what happens? So when we pass away, we go to the other side, and then what? I mean, do we ever come back, or what do we do? I've had people tell me we get our own planets, we get this, we get that. That all sounds great, but I'd really like to know what is it like on the other. You said there was a party going on. I'm all for that.
Yeah, a gathering of people getting along. I can only tell you from both my studies, my experience, and my beliefs. Everybody has their own way of looking at it. I do believe in reincarnation. I believe in karma. From everything I have studied and who talked about it, General George Patton talked about it. There's so many famous people that talk about poets and that they had been before and they've come back. So, really, what is the purpose of coming back? Why would you come back to this God, like you said, boot camp? And I think the idea is to achieve that place that I saw when I went to the other side, that place of calmness and joy as much as you can in the life struggles and the physical body struggles, like the man in the wheelchair. He's ready to go, where people I would be like with you, like, oh my God, my life would be over. I broke my leg and my ankle, my knee and everything, and I laid there and cried for myself. Oh, my life is over, I can't do it. But after a while, you got to do it, right?
Well,
So what happens on the other side is you have that opportunity. My understanding is you don't have to come back. That's up to you. But we're attached. I asked a woman once, I did hypnosis with her, and she was telling me things. She was a trippy lady. And I asked her that, why would you come back? She said, it is so beautiful on Earth. And she started describing nature and the beauty of the ocean. And you physically can't have that when you're on the other side. Mentally you can. You can mentalize it. If you've ever done any kind of mental work, imagery work, vision work, meditation, you can mentalize it. But she said that you want that physical connection to the beauty that's here on Earth that you cannot experience on the other side. Now, that's something she told me, and that was interesting.
Well, yeah, and I would agree with that. I think now I wouldn't know this for sure, but it's just kind of my gut feeling on all this is that what we experience here in the physical plane, is so that when we're in the spiritual plane, it's kind of to get our fix, right? So when we're in spirit form, okay, maybe we can't go in a store and open up a chocolate bar and eat it, but we've done it before, so we could kind of manifest that feeling. Is kind of how I look at it. I think, so we're experiencing things in this physical form, in this body, that we can't possibly have experienced in the spiritual form. So there's a reason for it, something to
Yeah.
take with us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I mean, this is, like I said, this was shared with this woman, and the reason I said she's an interesting woman is while she was under in hypnosis, a huge orb. You know what an orb is? The
Oh,
white
I do.
orbs. People talk about seeing them in different places.
Yes, ma'am.
I had never seen one before, and it started floating around the room. And I'm going to tell you, I was afraid. I wasn't like, oh, isn't that beautiful? I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck is this? You know, and it was floating around, and she's talking about heaven, space, and all that. And I'm thinking, I think I need to end this session. And it just came over to me, and then it floated back into her.
Wow.
Yeah, some really strange things have happened for me. I've really experienced very unexplainable experiences through people I've worked with more than anything else. It's mostly come through others.
Yeah, see, and it's like every time doing what you're doing, you're experiencing, you're learning, really. I mean, you're learning more and more through people. I mean, they think they're coming to you to get answers, and meanwhile, sometimes I'm sure they give you some answers too, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm using the people for my learning experience on Earth.
That's what
Exactly.
I do. I mean, with this show, I don't come on here thinking I know everything. That's why I have all these guests on like yourself, because I've explained it a million times, like this big puzzle. And every show I do, every guest I have, including yourself, I get a little piece to that puzzle. And I don't know if I'll probably never complete it, because the puzzle of life is just too damn big. But I hope to get close at least, and have some kind of understanding. When my time comes, where I'm going, and what's going to happen. Maybe extraterrestrials and all that. I want to know all that. I want the answers to all that stuff. But I don't put nothing past anything anymore. Fairies, you tell me anything, and I say, it probably did happen.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
The mysteries of the world and the universe and the cosmic energy truly is amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. June, hang on with me for a moment. I want to take another break, and I want to come back, got some more questions. If anyone has questions in the chat room, you are more than welcome to post them there, and I'll do my best to read that small print and get those questions to my guest. And I might even, if someone wants to call in, we might even do that. I'll ask June when we come back. So you are listening to The Last Frequency. I'm Mike Vara. Don't forget, get over to the VARA network. That's at lastfrequency.com. Become a member. Be informed. Always inform others. Don't forget, I am on Saturday nights. Most Saturday nights. We were working on the system this Saturday, so I wasn't able to do it. But I have uncensored, and I have a recorded one I've got to release here soon. I did it. I just haven't gotten it out there yet to make up for not being live. I'm on Monday nights and Sunday nights. So 9 p.m. Sunday for 2 hours. It's just basically for YouTube, but I also we're on the VARA network and the Paranormal Radio app and all that good stuff. And on Mondays, 9 to midnight. And so I've got Dr. Richard Allen Miller joining me tomorrow night. Should be an interesting show. I love talking with all my guests. We're going to take a break, and then we will be back, folks. Don't go away. I love the paranormal. I love trying to get answers to these things that doesn't seem like we're supposed to get answers to. Why is it such a mystery? If we can know that we're going to die, why can't we know what happens after we die? Maybe it's not so good. Maybe that's why we don't know. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Columbia.
Excellent, excellent.
Number one means you're always on top. Your number one radio.
You're listening to the VARA Network. Hey, frequencies of all walks of life. Keep up with all things TLF radio by joining our mailing list. Go to the bottom of the homepage and fill in the form. You'll get everything from guest info and show info and other important station-related information. So sign up now.
Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
You heard me. Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
Crazy ass bumper stickers and more.
What?
For all your bumper sticker needs, just click on the Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers banner located at the foot of my website, www.lastfrequency.com. That's Crazy Ass Bumper Stickers and more.
You're making me crazy.
I want to talk to you about something very important for a moment here, folks. That is clean drinking water. Now, you can survive without it for about 3 days. How do you know yours is even pure? You don't, but I'll tell you what is. This is the ultimate water filtration solution. It's called Alexa Pure Pro. It is a groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that outperforms all the others for less. I personally stand behind the Alexa Pure Pro water filtration system because I use it.
Welcome to the night. From the Midlands of South Carolina, you're listening to The Last Frequency with your host, Mike Vara. To get questions directly to Mike Vara, you can call in or message Mike on our website, www.lastfrequency.com. Now, here is Mike Vara.
We are back. This is The Last Frequency. I'm Mike Vara, and the website is lastfrequency.com. And as I get done coughing my head off here, every now and then, you know, it's kind of lingers a little bit. I don't know. This world today, one of the downfalls of being in this body, I suppose. So my guest is June Ahern. And very interesting guest, if I may say so. If you have questions, you could throw them in the chat room. I'll get to them. And we'll go from there. I suppose maybe we'll see. I don't know about phones tonight. We'll see if we're going to do that or not. I'm over on Facebook, by the way, Twitter. I am on mewe. I'm on Truth Social, and well, I think in the Gab too. So you could find me at any of those outlets. Make sure you join up for the newsletter so I could keep you informed on what's coming up next. And I appreciate it. And so let's get back to it here. June, we have returned. Tell me a little bit about Haunted Bay. What is that all about?
Oh, the Haunted Bay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the Haunted Bay is a paranormal investigation group. It started out with a young woman at State College here in California, and she was doing a class project. So she hooked herself up with Alameda Paranormal, and then she asked me one time, because I had read for her before, when her mother passed on. So she called me and said, would you like to do a paranormal investigation? Well, I had just really retired, and I thought, well, that'd be kind of fun. Where? Well, she offered me the Zodiac Circle. So the Haunted Bay is around San Francisco, in the Bay Area, mostly in San Francisco. And they go to different sites that are supposedly are haunted to find out what does a medium pick up. They work with another group, as I said, the Alameda, which is in the Bay Area here by San Francisco. They go in and they do more of the technical things to see if they can hear sounds. They have different kinds of equipment. I go in as the medium. The Alameda goes in with all the technical part of it. Did we pick up sound? Did we see a light or spirit or orb or whatever? And she asked me, did I want to do it, as I just said, and the Zodiac, and I said, I wouldn't want to do the Zodiac. I think it would be horribly sad and frightening, actually, to go to the sites where people were killed. And then she said, okay, would you like to go in the Condor Club in San Francisco? Well, the Condor Club is a strip joint.
Oh, geez.
It's a very... It's a very well known, it's actually very famous, a strip club, because it's the first place that went topless with a woman called Carol Doda.
Oh.
I said, well, I kind of always wanted to go there, but, young ladies didn't go there.
Right.
You wouldn't go there. In my days, you just didn't do things like that. And so that was my first paranormal investigation, was at the Condor Club in San Francisco. An infamous place, I must say. And I enjoyed it.
So I have to ask now, and I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way, but are there perverted ghosts if you're in a place like that and you're doing some kind of investigation? Do you ever get, like EVPs that, you wouldn't expect to get? Things like that?
Well, I have to say, I was just open. I just went in with the idea, and we had to go to 8 in the morning because you can't go at, certain times.
Sure.
Of course, the club is active. And one of my sisters went with me, and we just kind of had a good laugh at some places. But I picked up some very accurate information. One thing I did say, her name is Ying. She's a producer. I said, I will do this, but you have to work very hard to validate what I pick up. It's not enough I go in there and pick up information. I want to know, historically, to the best you can, is there actual facts to this? So that was one of my stipulations. I go in, I say all this stuff, but anybody could say anything, right?
Well, right, and
So
there's a lot of people too who think that the house is haunted when it's really simple things that could be explained. Believe me, when your place is haunted, you'll know it's haunted.
Oh yeah, exactly. And very sensitive people will pick up more than people that are not so intuitively or like an empath. Pick it up the same way that they are going to pick it up. So sensitive people pick up vibrations around you or movement around you that not necessarily could be explained. But you're right. I've had people say, "Oh, this is haunted," or "That spirit." Yeah. And I don't like to be disrespectful to people. That's their experience. But I'll tell them, I didn't get it. I didn't pick up any of it. So I don't think every medium picks up every spirit.
Right.
I don't think every reader gets the information right for every person.
See, for the apartment
it's
that
so-
I was in, I was one of those people. I mean, I didn't come right off and say, "Oh, the place is haunted." I mean, when the cabinet doors were opening and closing, just kind of boop, 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 they'd open up just enough that you'd let them go and they'd spring back. Boop, boop, boop. So, and I kept hearing that. So I got Exterminator, and I thought, okay, it must be maybe I got mice and I don't know it. And they're going in and out of the cabinets, or so I mean. Then when the electric, I was having problems with my computer and stuff going off, and so I had electricians come in. I mean, I assumed it was everything else before I ever assumed it was that. And then one night, I decided to do EVPs, and being a rookie at it, I learned how off a CD of back of a movie I was watching. And we'll try to, and that's when I was spoken to, and I'll tell you what, it woke me up. And I mean, even symbol on the wall, I mean, things coming off the wall and being thrown at you. It's hard to really. I mean, it's like so unreal when it happens. Like, you got to be kidding me! Is this really happening? Like you said earlier, it's like, come on, this stuff don't happen. But it does.
Yeah. It does. And I like the approach you take, because that's what everybody should do. They should look for the more logical reasoning why something is happening. Like you said, oh, maybe I've got mice. Let me go and check that out. And that's what people often will jump right to it, especially if they know who I am. I mean, in my area here, I've been recognized because I've done work here, and they'll say, "Oh, June, I think this is it, and this and that." And I just look at it, and I said, and I'm like you. Well, have you checked your electricity? Have you checked your wiring? Go there first before you go to the next thing, unless you absolutely had a manifestation or something showed up. Then it's scary.
Yeah, I had a last house that I lived in, well, a couple houses ago. Sometimes I would just leave my mic on in the studio, and it's a very powerful mic, and I would leave it on and leave it recording while I was out, doing other things, and I'd come back and I'd listen. And sometimes I hear very interesting things, but I at least in that house, nobody talked to me. So, I'm always trying to, I don't know, it'd be nice to get a decent spirit that would sit down and you could just actually interview them. Boy, wouldn't that be great? But you just get these small tidbits.
Yeah, if they would sit long enough. Well, I tell people they want to contact spirits, and I've done that so many times. And I tell people, do you know how hard it is for a spirit to actually come over and give information? That's why it doesn't last long. They have to cross dimensional spaces. It's a certain energy. And it should be respected as that. Just don't call them up. I have people that tell me, oh, I have a problem, so I called my father to come back and help me. Oh, he's with me all the time. And how can they rest in peace if you keep calling them back?
Oh, yeah, it's like you were a pain in the ass in life, you're still a pain in the ass,
Oh, better watch your language.
Yes. It's just so much. I mean, it doesn't seem like we're supposed to know. I mean, maybe certain folks like yourself, you can connect on certain things. I've had experiences. I mean, I believed before I had any of my experiences. I always believed that I always figured there has to be something. I mean, what would all this be for? This is ridiculous if there's nothing else. Because it's like we're sea monkeys or something. Remember they used to sell those in the comic books? You'd buy that little package of bacteria, put it in the water, and they tell you, oh, they're going to be sitting down on the couch like a family in the bowl and watching TV and all that stuff, and you believed it. And they were nothing but bacteria, and I hope that's not the case for us.
Yeah. Well, I do too. Even though my many years and many, many experiences, I still remain in question. And I think it's healthy to have some kind of skepticism in the way that you're willing to keep an open mind, not skepticism where you shoot it down right away. But you have to have this, as you said, don't say it's just a spirit until you've checked out some of the more logical things. To live in both worlds, I can live and enjoy being a human being and I can also communicate with what is the unseen and not let it bother me. Well, it has bothered me at times. Just keep an open mind. That's what I tell people. Just keep an open mind.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you, once I found out that it was some kind of spiritual energy that was goofing with me, it got real. I mean, it's creepy. For me, it was creepy. I'm thinking, man,
Well, that
there's
doesn't
something
sound
in
good.
here watching me right now, and I can't see it.
Yeah,
It-
that
it-
doesn't sound good at all.
No.
That's not a normal communication at all.
No,
you
it's
experience.
not, and I'll tell you, it's an interesting, very interesting story. It's a very true story. I swear on my life. And two of my friends that owned the building that I lived in, both wound up with really serious health issues. One had heart attack and aneurysms and died. The other one had heart attacks. He sold the building, and he's still alive, thank God. And I mean, I had issues. It's just, it wasn't, two people had, died in a fire, and that building was restored. And I was part of the crew that helped. My buddy says, hey, you want, earn some extra money, you can come and, I had my own business at the time, but I helped them restore the building. And then I got an offer to take one of the apartments, and I did. And I'll tell you what, it was really view changing. I can tell you that they weren't very nice. At first, it started out with just kind of trickery, playing games, and in the end, I mean, it got kind of serious, really serious. Like trying to start fires and stuff, which was not, not for me. I got out of there, and thankfully, I don't think anything followed me. Although the way my luck goes, sometimes I wonder. But yeah.
No, that was good that you got out of there, because that's not that's the other side. Spirit communication with those loved ones that have gone on and talking. That's something entirely different. Was it near some sort of water? Was there plumbing problems? Was there leaks? There was a water?
There was a river nearby, not too far away at all, actually. Yeah.
That's where a lot of these low-grade vampire kind of entities come through water. I mostly have found out, that it's a river nearby or a lake or like that.
Yeah, it was the Genesee River, and there could be all kinds of stuff coming out of that river, because for years, Eastman Kodak would dump chemicals in it. So God only knows what's lurking in that river. And people actually go down there and still fish and eat the fish out of there. I wouldn't eat anything out of there. I don't care if I was starving to death, but they do. Of course, they say they cleaned it up. But yeah, of course, it's always clean. Go ahead, eat it up. Beautiful. But yeah, it was so it was near a river, very close to a river, actually. So
That's there's so many streams under. The people build buildings, add dirt, build, and there's streams that are flowing underneath the earth that go through buildings. People are not always aware of this, and that's the other side that really concerns me about people that want to do amateur ghost things or paranormal investigations, and they're amateurs. You see these TV. One of the most popular TV ghost investigation, I cannot stand it. They scream, they jump around, they act like, oh my God. And I think, why would you be an investigator if you're going to be afraid? You can't be afraid.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You're afraid. Yeah,
and then, it's like, oh my God, what was that? And then they go to a commercial break, and then they come back, and it's, that was nothing. It was just headlights from the car outside.
It's so stupid. It's just stupid.
I agree.
Yeah, I tell people to go, have you watched this program? And I said, once briefly, and I never would recommend it. It's lies.
Yeah. Well, there is one paranormal show that I actually like, and I think it was called Dead something. There was a homicide detective. I can't remember.
Dead Files?
Dead Files, thank you.
Dead Files.
I
With Amy,
love that
Steven.
show.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
I was
because
going to talk about that.
that's an awesome one. I mean, you got a homicide detective who does a whole different investigation, and then you got the psychic, and she is amazing. I mean, she really
She's
gets into it.
amazing.
Yeah, those two are great. I love. That's one show I say,
Yes,
yeah, they're
I
real.
love that show.
Yeah, yeah,
It's for real. She's for real, and I could tell. Like I said, I've been in this business a long time, and have met countless mediums and psychics, and over the years, and I can tell the ones that really are very gifted and prepared. You can be gifted and have it, but if you're not prepared to deal like Amy deals, or I will deal with paranormal, you should not be doing it. You should find something else to do. Go sit in your garden and commune with the fairies, the garden fairies.
well, right, and I agree. Most of these paranormal shows, most of them are. I mean, let's face it, they got to keep it interesting, or they're not going to be on the air long. Then others, the real ones, the real people like Dead Files. I mean, they don't. I mean, it is interesting. It's because I like the way they do it, the way they go about it. It's just a real feel to it. Yeah, it's not some,
Very well done.
Yeah,
very well. And you know what I like about it is that they do check the history out and get facts after Amy, has done it.
Yeah.
Just like how I asked Ging, my producer, I said you have to do the research. It has to be real to people that really want to know about it. The other one is like drama hype, kind of stuff. I guess there's people that I've certainly met people that like that kind of stuff. I'm not into it.
Yeah, no, me either. I like real. I like stuff I could learn from. I like stuff that makes my mind, makes me think. That's what I like. And Dead Files will do that. I mean, I watch some of that stuff, and I think, I remember one episode there was a spirit that was telling her he loves giving people heart attacks, and there's like this. It was kind of like it used to be. There was a tattoo parlor on the bottom and some apartments up top. And then after the guy did his homicide detective work, he found that all these people were having heart attacks that owned and lived on the property. And I'm thinking, I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. It's amazing.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's a delight to watch because they're able to bring it together, and she's able to give proper advice. Like, we'll have a Reiki person come in, we'll have a shaman come in. It's just such a good program. Well put together. And that's what people don't realize. You did realize it because your two friends were ill. Yeah. When you get an attachment, there's possession, there's attachments. You can get an attachment from a spirit. It could be a negative spirit, it could be a low-grade entity. And this is what starts to happen. You get ill. You get tired. You get disorientated. You get depressed. And it happens. And that's always why I say, if you want to do your own investigation, please read up how to do it. Please decide how you want to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, they'll wear you down until you just get almost psychotic. I think that's the goal from some of these negative energies. And so, what these negative energies are they people who've lived before, or are they? I mean, what are they?
Okay, I just noticed that. Can I turn my video on?
Oh, you know what?
Okay.
Oh my God, I forgot all about that too. Yes, please do. Oh wow,
my video's not on.
Yeah, I didn't even notice. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm looking right at it, but never dawned on me.
No, I'm a real person. Look,
yes, you are. Hello. All right. Let me get you on.
So.
Yeah. Go.
That was funny. I looked down and I went, oh, because I thought, well, maybe he doesn't want to video it, so I'll just not. Then I looked down and said, oh, I didn't turn my video on.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, which is crazy. Let's see. I got something in the way here. I'm trying to. There we go. Everything's.
So, to your question, are they negative, evil people? Are they something else? They can absolutely be a person that has lived in body, and refuses to go to the other side, maybe miserable. Even when we think of things like Jeffrey Dahmer, is his energy still around? It can be one of my very favorite books that I learned a lot about spirits many years ago was by this author called Mary Blount White, and it's called The Letters from the Other Side, and she devotes a whole chapter to attachments. She calls them vampire entities, low-grade entities. And when I was in Jamaica, I had my first experience with that at a house that was very, very haunted, actually like an exorcist haunted kind of thing. So they can be low-grade entities that were really never human, and I can't even say where they come from because I don't know, but they do travel things like through water, through electricity, and then there are people that have lived, if you talking about the dead files, where there have been murders on that land. Someone has gone insane and murdered a whole family, and that energy, that entity still exists there. So it can be a few different reasons these spirit entities are there. And again, maybe some of your listeners will go check out Dead Files and get a better sense of that. The thing that happens, like what happened to your friends, as soon as you said they got ill, I knew they had attachments. And you got out. You got out before you got attached.
Yeah, I was there. I think I might have lasted maybe 2 to 3 months. I can't remember. It's been a long time now, but I think it was a few months I was there. Wasn't there very long. Might have been a little longer, but it don't feel like it was. I remember dealing with it for a couple months, it seemed like, and it's like, and I was anxious to get out of there after that because what did it for me is in the end I woke up and I woke up, it was real bright in the room, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I look over at the window, and the blinds are missing on my window. And I'm thinking, well, what the hell? And I smelled something burning. I look over to the other side, clear across the other side of the room, and the blinds are sitting on my electric heater melting. And I'm thinking, not me, not now.
Definitely an entity, a spirit.
Yeah, it was not good.
Spirit.
So, I mean, I booked. I got my stuff packed. I told my buddies. I said, "Look, I'm sorry. I'll catch up with you, but I got to get out of here." And then my friend, the one who died, moved into that apartment after I left because he didn't believe me, and I think that might have been part of his doom. To be honest with you. Yeah.
They will attack you. They will attack. He may already have had a certain illness, something happening in his DNA, maybe even but these kind of dark entities, they will attack anyone who has an illness, who has a weakness, old people, children. That's why I tell people when they've asked me before, can I bring my child to the seance? I say, absolutely not. You do not want anything like that. Though my circles are clear, but who knows? Who knows what might open up?
Oh, right. I know. Yeah. Nowadays, they want to bring children to a lot of things they shouldn't be bringing them to, and it's sad. But,
yes, I agree.
Yeah. But these entities, nothing to play with, because especially if you don't know what you're dealing with. And normal person, I don't pretend to know what I'm dealing with, but I'll tell you, since that incident at that apartment, which I didn't have a show at that time. And now, I grew up listening to paranormal type stuff and now doing this show and being able to talk to so many great people like yourself, I know a few things. So when something's happening, I recognize it kind of quicker, I think. And I'm not going to say I know exactly what to do. I know what not to do. I know that.
There you go. That's good. Yeah. Yes. That's when you ask me, do you prepare? I say, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I got caught a few times, even in the paranormal investigation. I got caught a couple of times with them. And then even previous to that, in the early 1990s, I went to Jamaica. I was commissioned to come there and do talks and do readings and such. And I went to a home of a woman that the doctors examined her. As a matter of fact, her husband was a doctor. He went to New York. He tried to get they couldn't find out exactly what was wrong with her. They said it's probably cancer. The thing is that she was, there was attachments. There was entities in that place. And I'll tell you something. I am skeptical, as I said before. So I went to that home, and this is July, and it's hotter than, well, hell. in Jamaica.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess I've never been to hell, so I can't tell you if it was really hot.
Well, you're on Earth, so you've
But I
been
won't-
close.
So I went in, and it was freezing in there. Nobody else was feeling this way. I had not yet met the woman, and I started to shake, and I went to the back of the house. It was a small house, and it smelled like rotten garbage. I mean, oh, it was putrid. And I began to feel like I was going to faint. Now, I'm not a dramatic person. I have a good Scottish-Irish background. We don't show those kind of things,
Yeah.
right? And I started to shake, and they had to hold me up, take me out of that room. So I went into the room where the woman was under piles of blankets. She was so cold, and if it hadn't happened to me, I was slapped. Like, my brother used to roll up the wet towel and snap it at us.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah. It was all in fun. He's a very good brother.
Sure.
But I felt like I was being slapped by wet towels. I was scratched. I was pushed, punched. It was horrible. And they asked me what to do. I said, move, get away from this. And of course, this was a couple. I was, in my 40s. They were probably well into their late 60s. I said, I can't do this. You have to call somebody who's really can deal with the exorcism here. This is way above me. So that's when I began to realize there are a lot more out there than we can be aware of. And we should be aware of it, not fearfully aware of it, but cautiously aware of it. If you want to do a ghost thing, get involved with ghosts, do that. Just be aware that could be more than you're bargained for.
Yeah, and fear feeds negative energy. So if that's like some of these
Absolutely.
ghost hunters, like you were talking about, if you're gonna get there and jumpy and scared about everything, oh, they got you. You're there. Well, you know what you are. So
What's the purpose?
yeah, exactly. So I mean, you got to go in there. That's like the psychic. I bring it up again on Dead Files. I mean, she goes in there. She has no fear. She comes in and she does what has to be done. And you have to be like that, or they're going to take total control of you.
Absolutely. Well, I have seen her. It was, and I can't remember exactly everything that happened, but there was one where she said, I don't want to do this. It's too much.
Yeah,
I can't remember the particular one, the episode.
I've seen that, and I couldn't imagine. And boy, I'll tell you, she's so good. I couldn't imagine
She's so good.
going through. I mean, I wouldn't last 2 minutes in her shoes. I'd probably have a heart attack and die.
She likes it. She said she likes it. They interviewed her with it. She said, yeah, I like it. I like meeting the spirits and the ghosts.
Well, and she must like
and
it
I
because,
do.
I
I
mean,
do.
yeah, because if she didn't like it, I don't think she'd be around anymore. I mean, that's enough. If you can't handle that, it's enough to drive you crazy.
Oh, yeah, it'll wear you down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When my book came out, How to Talk with Spirits, I had a lot of book events that I went to, sometimes 2 and 3 in a week. And this happened for quite a few months. And I was, kind of wearing down. So I went to one book event. And here's the thing. Do not drink alcohol or take any kind of substance, get loaded or anything before you do an investigation.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is a bad idea. I'm not opposed to having a drink, but you do not do it when you're doing that.
Yeah.
And I went in and they had a big party thing of punch, vodka. They said, oh, have a drink. And I was like, oh, no. Everybody, almost every single person there, and it was a big group. There had to be about 25 to 30 people. And many of them had murders in their family, suicides, early child deaths, and it was just overwhelming. And that's when for the first time in my whole experience and my profession, I got an attachment. I didn't know it right away, but now I know what an attachment feels like. And it took me about a good month to recognize it was an attachment. I just thought something was really wrong with me. I went into a deep depression. I was physically ill. I was like, and then one time I was wanting to do a meditation, and my guides came through and said, you have an attachment. I was like, no, not me. How could that be? I
Yeah.
have an attachment.
Now, how does one know if they have an attachment versus one always thinking they have an attachment? So, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, well, you have to, again, you don't go right away to I have an attachment. You want to go, why all of a sudden do I feel so depressed? Why do I feel so sick all the time? I can't identify it. You have to take steps. You want to look at it, medically, psychologically. You want to pay attention. Were you like that before? What happened? Where were you when this started to happen? And then when you can't really get an answer, like this Jamaica, the doctor in Jamaica and his wife, that's why they asked me to come in, because they had done all the medical, they had done all of that, and there was no answers. So you got to deal with it in two ways. But you feel it, and sometimes you feel like you're being watched or there's a weight upon you. My first experience with a Native American woman was my first experience of seeing an attachment, and she had come for a reading, and she even said to me, "I think I have an attachment." I said, "Well, I don't really know about those things," and then I saw it, and it was up here in her neck and the back of her head. Later, I learned that that's where the Chinese say that evil spirits, come in the back of your neck. That's why keep your scarf up. Don't get, be careful with the cold weather, things like that. So you'll feel it, and you won't be able to get an answer, why medically, psychologically, what's going on. And then if you're aware and you feel it, like the Native American woman that came to me, she said, "I feel I have this." So she went through sweat lodges. She saw her medicine man. She's very involved in her practice of being an Native American, her life, her culture. So
yeah,
that's how you kind of know. Otherwise, you end up, it gets worse. It doesn't get better if you don't stop it.
Now, for future reference, should we do this again? Do you ever, I guess you probably do. I don't know though. Could people can call, can you do it over the phone? Can you do readings, card readings and stuff like that over the phone for folks?
Oh God. Absolutely, you do them over there. As you know, I just said I'm retired from private practice.
Right.
So I don't do that. I do metaphysical coaching where I teach people how to, what we're even talking about, how to, if you really want to be, if you are a medium or you think you are, this is how you do it and how you progress in it, how you educate yourself. So I teach people more like that. I have private clients and I do classes. Yes, over the phone. It has nothing to do with having to see anybody. No, it's always nice. It's the vibration of the voice. It's the rhythm and vibrations that are happening. And I've even done, with a couple other mediums that I know, did seances on Zoom, and they were really good.
Ooh. See, I would love to be in a successful seance. I've done them before, and the people I've done them with, I really didn't have too much confidence in. The one of those, you just don't know if they're goofing around or if it's, I want to do it with people I can trust, are not going to try to set up the atmosphere. But boy, I would love to.
Well, you have to have an atmosphere. You do have an atmosphere when you do a seance, quiet and dark and like that. Though I've done it in light and gardens and everywhere.
And is there a point when spirits can't answer the phone, I guess?
Absolutely. Good question.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, you can call them, but it doesn't mean they're going to answer the phone. That's exactly what I say.
Hell yeah. So, I would think that at some point they move on to whatever they're set out to do, and I guess some come back. I don't know. I've some say, and I think it could be true that if you goof up or if you don't complete, I guess people who leave this life too early for, maybe they take themselves out or what have you. I've heard psychics say, well, then they're going to have to come back and do it again. Or if you murder somebody, you're going to have to come back and see what it feels like to maybe either be murdered or, I don't know how true all that is, but boy, wouldn't that be a great justice system?
Well, that's karma. I mean, that's the idea of karma. Before we leave this planet, I'm like you. I hope in my last breath I learn something before I leave this planet.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of karma is to make yourself aware, to learn how to be more compassionate and understanding to people. So you know how you affected them.
Yeah.
If you can make amends, it's like, the 12-step program, make amends when you can. Make amends, try to bring a harmony to your life. So when you come back, you don't have to keep going through the same lesson. To me, God is merciful. God doesn't punish us, but we have to be awakened. We have to be aware. It's like saying to your kid, I know you didn't really mean to take that bike from your friend. And I'll tell him, but not only are you going to have to return it, but I'm going to have to, take your phone away, your computer away. So you have to think about this. That's how I look at, for me, the God that I pray to.
And I've always thought that, when it comes down to it, if you can't forgive yourself for things you've done, well, then how can you expect anybody else, even God, to forgive you, maybe? So I think the first is within yourself. You've got to learn to forgive yourself. And I don't know.
It's a hard one.
Is everything forgivable? Because I don't know. There seems like there's some things out there. But I guess then there's people who are, I'll just say, out there enough where that they might do something horrible, and to them it's not horrible at all, and they say, well, God made me this way. But did God make you that way?
Oh.
I know. Right?
Yeah, God made me that way. And that, the studies they're doing in brains of mass murderers, they're studying them. They are finding that there's parts of their brains that are like holes in it or missing, or, that they're not wired the same. That's what the studies are actually showing.
Oh, yeah. Like it was manufactured, underground somewhere. The brain. I had... Go ahead.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just laughing. I shouldn't be laughing at something that's
okay.
serious.
I'm sorry. I think we probably have
serious.
just a small delay, so we're not trying to walk on each other here. It just happens. But I don't know. It's just it's a crazy thing to think. It puzzles my mind trying to comprehend all of this. That is all I know is that this life. When I was a kid, it seemed like it was going slow as a snail, and as you get older, it's like speeding up like a like I don't know what. And here I am. It seemed like yesterday I was 19. Today I'm 51, and I'm thinking, holy smokes, I used to always say growing up, well, once you get 50, all bets are off. Well, I'm over 50, so I guess all bets are off.
Oh, you got to just live it up. I actually probably only have about 20 years left of that. I'm in my 70s, and it just makes me think, boy, I better appreciate, the world, especially children. I love watching the children's laugh. They just laugh.
Yeah.
With no reason to laugh. They just laugh.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful.
And you remember, and I miss it sometimes. I look and I say, boy, I wish I could go back to that, where, everything is fun. You have no worries. Just, maybe your biggest worry is that you can't find your mom for a minute or something. But outside of that, yeah, children are amazing. And
yeah, they are.
They really are. But I'll tell you what, it goes by quick. And when you have children, they grow up so quick, and then you look in the mirror and say, wow, not only did they get older, whew, so did I. So, yeah. And here we are. How can people get in contact with you if they would like to? And what if they want to be a part of your classes? If you wouldn't mind, take a few minutes to put all that out there for folks, just in case they may have some interest.
Well, the easiest way is to go to my website and check out what I have. I try to keep my events up to date. Just go to my website, see what I have to offer, where I'm talking, if I'm talking in person locally, or if I'm doing the thing on Zoom. And that's really easy, JuneAhern.com. Just my name.com. And that's how they could get a hold of me. through that. That's the easiest way. I'm also part of a SF coaching website where I offer my metaphysical coaching, and that is SF like San Francisco initials, sfcoaching.com. So those are two ways. All you have to do is put my name into a search, and many things will come up. Talks I've done, books I have, like that.
All right,
Get
fantastic.
a feel for me.
Yeah, you got a YouTube channel or anything along those lines? I believe you. I see.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I do. Well, I have my own. I'm working on all of that.
Okay.
I am a little older. But the Haunted Bay, if you want to go on the Haunted Bay, you can see me. I talk about different places that we go. I walk through. You can see me on the Haunted Bay on YouTube. It's also on Amazon Prime, the Haunted Bay. So you can put the Haunted Bay with June Ahern, and then you'll be able to choose which video you'd like to watch.
Yeah.
I have Facebook. I'm like everybody else, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah. All the usuals. Well, listen. Before we're done here tonight, I'd like to give you the floor to get out anything else that you like, whatever it is. You got something you want to throw out there, promote, whatever. Go right ahead, and let me thank you so much for being a guest here tonight. I've enjoyed talking with you, and I've got another little piece to the puzzle. Thank you, and we have to do this again sometime.
Yeah. This has been easy, a very easy conversation. I like that.
Thank you.
All I can say to people is trust your intuition. Learn how to trust it, develop it. There's so many different ways you can do that. And that's something I teach in my classes and always promote. When you trust your intuition, you're living more to yourself, who you are, and not who everybody else tells you how you should act, how you should dress, what you should believe in. Just don't believe in things because someone tells it. If you really want to, experiment with it yourself. Does it work for you? What does it mean in your life? Does it better your life, and will it because if it betters your life in a way that you can share it with others, that's what we're all here to do, really, is to share positive growth with other people. That's how I look at life, and that's what I really talk to people about. I think that's really my message.
All right. Well, June, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, I guess, and the rest of your week. And until we speak again, stay safe, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
All right. You bet. Thank you for being here. Have a good one. All right, folks. There she goes, June Ahern, and that went really well. I enjoyed talking with her. If you are interested, I have her linked up on the website. Again, it's www.juneahern.com. So you can get her there. I'm trying to get... There it is. Okay. So, you can find... I got her linked up on my website, lastfrequency.com as well. I'm actually enjoying these when I can do them here, when there's not a problem. I'm enjoying these Sunday night shows when I can focus just on the paranormal aspect of things and kind of take my mind off all that's going on in our world today. And so that's what this Sunday night is all about for me. And I thank all of you for joining me in it. Sometimes we get more listens after it's archived and whatever. I mean, it'll pick up, and I'll keep doing it as long as my equipment allows me to. So June Ahern, again, www.juneahern.com. My website is lastfrequency.com. You know, one of the things that I've been kind of toying with myself is, again, like I said earlier, getting over, I'm 51, right? So who the hell knows how long I have? I mean, none of us do, right? You could be gone tomorrow. And I can't tell you how many times. Well, one thing I won't do, I'm never going on roller coasters. Okay, so that I won't get over that fear. But the fear, I've been so many places here in the United States. I've been in Canada, all over Canada. I won't go to Mexico because I don't like being kidnapped and all that stuff. But, I've been thinking, what prevented me from going to other places, other countries and stuff is the fear of flying. I'll tell you what. The thought of getting in one of those tubes and getting in the air and putting all my trust in somebody who may have not got enough sleep the night before. And who knows if the mechanics who are working on the damn thing have gotten enough sleep the night before. These are the things that I think of all the time. I always think of what can happen. I guess there's a benefit to that. You're prepared kind of mentally for the worst. I always say prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I guess that's okay. It's not always the best thing to do. I mean, my fear is I get on one of these planes, and I get up there, and it scares the living you-know-what out of me. I mean, once you're up there, it's too late. Just like these roller coasters. Once that guy hits the lever and you start going, there's no, let's back him up and bring him back. No, you're going up the hill and through the loops and all that stuff. But I'm considering it. I've been considering it. I want to, take an international flight, get over some fears. Who knows? Maybe get captured and never be seen again. You never know how those things work out. But, so next week, I'm making a mess here. Come on. Next week. What do I have next week? Next week is Dr. Rand. He's going to join. We're going to talk about his new book. And we'll see if we can keep Dr. Rand on track. And so I got Dr. Joy coming up this month. I've got some good stuff coming up. Tomorrow night, Dr. Richard Allen Miller joins me. I'm looking forward to that. He's always a lot of fun. And he says that there's something coming. There's an event that's coming. And Earth is not going to fare well from it. No, it's not a Planet X thing, I don't think. But that's what he says, and I don't even know if he wants to talk too much in detail about it, but he seems to know something that maybe the rest of us don't. And so that's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the VARA network. I want to thank each and every one of you, wherever it is you may be, around the globe, in the chat room, on another planet, or on the other side. This has been a broadcast of The Last Frequency with yours truly, Mike Vara. I hope you'll tune into our network at the VARA network at lastfrequency.com, and I hope you'll support us so we can continue to do what we love to do, and that's be right here with you. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Keep your eyes posted to the sky because you never know what you might see. Keep your ears posted to this broadcast because you never know what you might learn. Good night, everybody.